later on after the presentation.
I shoot myself. You.
So let's count down.有安排的。Thank you. Gabriel. From Mexico.
I don't want to. Yeah.
I will do my best. And thank you for coming. 你介绍一下。
Hello, good morning. Good morning. Hi, my name is Ibin Lian, and he is the speaker, but I'm the International Commissioner of Scout of China and also the chairman of APR Program Committee in this year. And it's my great pleasure to sort of moderate this session and introduce Dr. Liu. We all know Scouting is the non-formal education, but 40 years ago in Taiwan, the government and the educator launched experiment to bring in this non-formal education into a formal education curriculum. And to implement the policy, the normal university or the teachers college need to train a lot of scout teacher. Okay, to do so, they have a specific department and to cultivate these scout teachers. And Dr. Liu is the professor of this department of National Taiwan Normal University for over 25 years. I dare to say that in Taiwan, more than half of these scout teachers had taken course from him. Okay, yeah, and his students spread out all over Taiwan. Okay, some of them are here. Please wave your hand. This student, okay, and including our international director, Zhang Wenxin, okay. And so, but this system is sort of independent from the Woodcraft system, this teacher training system. So it's very interesting Dr. Liu gonna share with us his extraordinary experience of this experiment. Let's welcome him. Give a big hand.
Thank you. Okay, International Commissioners of Scouts of China and distinguished guests, my sisters and brothers Scouts, good morning. Okay, please allow me to sit down. Okay. Yep. Okay, it's my pleasure and privilege to be here with day one of the first World Scout Education Congress. As you know, there have been numerous scouting events such as World Scout Jamborees, Regional Scout Jamborees, National Scout Jamborees, International Rover Moot, Scout Youth Forum, and all sorts of service projects and training programs. But this Congress is unique in it puts two words together, and education together. And it has a focus on education for life. By doing this, I think totally new events, scouting is then created. You may wonder why we have Congress on education, but what else? Scouting has long been associated with the concept of character education, manliness education, citizenship education, patriotic education. And scouting has also claimed itself as a non-education. All this indicates that scouting has already been a form of education. Then, what benefits do we derive from coming up with a relatively new term such as scouting education? To be honest, I don't know the answer. Maybe you know. But I have a story of scout education, a middle school course in Taiwan to share with you. And I think this is why I am here. I have taught for more than 20 years at the National Taiwan Normal University, which is abbreviated as NTNU. I offer courses such as principles of scouting education, theories and practices, and play, teaching materials and methods for scouting education, and selected readings on scouting education, introduction to outdoor education, theories of experiential education, etc. I have hundreds of undergraduate students and a few grad students who teach scouting educations in the middle schools. Now let's look at some pictures on the PowerPoint. Tell you, I got most of these pictures posted on the Facebook by my former students in the last few weeks. I didn't say collect it on purpose. And they are very active at this time of season because the autumn time is one of the best season to go outdoors in Taiwan. The pictures shows that students are divided into different groups, just like scout patrols. They tie knots, they do the pioneering work, they play games, they learn to identify plants on the campus. They do the handicrafts work. They whittle first sticks as fire starters. They learn to cook and they camp overnight. They just do the things as typical scout do. And a scouting education teacher says, she is beautiful, right? And she says, she is ready to show off and enjoy the campfire programs with her students. And know that all these students are not scouts. But they attend the scouting education class in a curriculum field entitled now as integrated activities, which began 11 years ago in 2002. And now see, another scouting education teacher as well as a scoutmaster of the school scout troop even says, the curtain of night is lowering gently. I miss all those days camping with you guys. How have all of you been? I really miss you all because, she has to stay at home because he cannot go to the campings with the student right now. And as far as I know, many of well-qualified scouting education teachers and their students enjoy very much scouting education as a middle school subject. And these scouting education teachers are also willing to serve as a scoutmaster of school scout troop. However, it is noteworthy to understand that the current situation of scouting education is not the same as it used to be. Scouting education used to be an independent course, but now it is only a part of integrated activity, and it does not teach the knowledge of the Scout movement as a part of its content. Why? Let me explain to you by sharing with you a brief story of Scouting education as a middle school course. As you know it very well, the Scouting, since its inception in 1907, has been generally recognized as a successful youth educational movement. But it is a movement occurring voluntarily outside the school system. As Sir Baden-Powell claimed in the preface of Scouting for Boys, his book, that Scouting has been described by more than one enthusiast as a revolution and in education. But he denied this statement. He continued to say that it is merely a suggestion thrown out at the adventures for a jolly outdoor recreation, which has been found to form also a practical aid to education. It may be taken to be complementary to school training and capable of filling up certain chinks unavoidable in the ordinary school curriculum. It is, in a word, a school of citizenship through woodcraft. I think it's still important saying here. But the above statement clearly indicates that Scouting occurs outside the school's walls and is not supposed to integrate into the school curriculum as a course of study. However, this is not the case in the Republic of China. Okay. The Scout movement in China begins in 1912 when Miss Jia Lin-Yan, later recognized as the founder of Boy Scout of China, BSC, in 1942, organized the first Scout troop at the junior high church schools at Wuchang in the central part of China. Remember that, long time ago. Later on, Scouting had been supported by many church schools in Shanghai and many local schools in Jiangsu province. These schools runs the Scout troops separately, and somehow they organize different Scout associations. However, the political party Kuomintang, abbreviated as KMT, decided to claim its ownership of Scouting in China in the years of 1926, when the Youth Department of the Central Executive Committee of KMT proposed to unify various Scout organizations by setting up a committee on KMT Boy Scout. The proposal was passed on March 5th, 1926. The day was announced the Boy Scouts of China Day. In 1928, the unification of China was completed. And then, a year later, a middle school elective course entitled KMT Boy Scout appeared in 1929. And this is the origin of Scouting education as a course in Taiwan's middle school curriculum. I know it was an unusual case to transform scouting into scouting education class in a middle school. What was the dynamics of this transformation? According to Chen, a scouting education scholar, also my teacher, they are two major groups giving dynamics to the introduction of scouting education into the middle school curriculum. They are educators and governmental officials. On the one hand, educators generally felt that the Boy Scout training, with its emphasis on outdoor activities, service projects, and educational philosophy of learning by doing, might contribute to character building and citizenship training. And more important, they felt that the benefits of being a Boy Scout should not have been limited to the upper middle class kids and should be enjoyed by all students. But on the other hand, the program of the BSC, with its semi-military components, was regarded by the ruling power, that is, KMT regimes, as model for preparing the youth to fight against the various threatening forces such as the Western's power, the Japanese, the warlords, and the Chinese Communist Party. It was certainly of interest to the then ruling power, KMT, to see that scouting education was incorporated into the middle school curriculum. The scouting education as a middle school course was considered to reaching its peak in 1937 when China declared wars on Japan. Workshops were provided, but not woodcraft training, by Ministry of Education to train more qualified scouting education teachers. Also, the Boy Scout discipline measure was formulated to monitor almost all aspects of student behavior, including the dress code requiring all middle schools to wear Scout uniform. And this particular Boy Scout discipline measures remained effective until 1950, the year the KMT regime lost its control of mainland China and moved to the island of Taiwan. And later on, a major improvement of scouting education occurred in 1957. Prior to that year, in compliance with the discipline measure described above, all middle school students were required to wear the school uniform as the school uniform, as you know. After 1957, that dress no longer existed due to the recognition that a scout means nobody is a scout. Code improvement was achieved by educators who argued that ordinary middle school students were not entitled to the Boy Scout uniform, and that uniform carried too strong a symbol of military training. Chen, the same scouting education scholar, indicates that the school scouting education in 1957 contributes to the clarification of the previous confusion of school scouting education with the social scout movement. However, he also observed that scouting education was still considered to be a preparatory course for the military training, which was a required course offered in senior high school. But despite the fact that scouting education had claimed its function as a means of achieving the goals of civic education, Chinese Eastern education, group living education, and know this, life education. A review of scouting education curriculum reveals that scouting education had adopted different names and taken different instructional hours since its inception in 1929. The following list show how its name, its instruction periods had evolved along its course of development. Okay, the year 1929 through 1931, very short time, it's called Boy Scout, 2 per week, and it's not compulsory. In year 39, it's called Physical Education and Boy Scout. Okay, it's very interesting, right? But you probably know the reason. And it's 3 periods per week, and it's compulsory. 1940 through 1947, it's called Boy Scout, 2 periods per week, compulsory. 1948 through 1956, Boy Scout training, 1 hour per week, compulsory. 1957 through 1961, it changed its name to Boy Scout education, 1 period per week, compulsory. 1962 through 1971, Boy Scouts training again, 1 period per week, compulsory. 1972 through 1982, Scout, only Scout training, 1 period per week, compulsory. 1983 through 2002, Scouting education, 1 period per week, compulsory. A deeper examination of name change of scouting education reveals at least 2 concerns. One is, what is the nature of scouting education? Is it a training, or is it an education? And the other concern is that scouting education should be offered without gender bias. The term scout or scouting, however, has remained the essential component of the course name. And this illustrates scouting education as a middle school subject had been to a great extent under of the scout movement. I had a book in 1994. This one, sorry. Okay, but I explain a little bit. I compare 5 sets of curriculum standards of scouting education published in 1948, 1962, 1968, 1972, and 1983, respectively. And I found that they share the similar goals, and the goals were generally linked with moral education, harmonious group living education, national ethos education, and life education. That's very essential thought in our say our thinkings of scouting education as by educator. And I also found that the contents of scouting education had been generally composed of 4 categories, namely A, knowledge of scout movement, B, knowledge and skills of daily life, outdoor activities, and service projects, C, prescribed outdoor and service exercises, and D, life practices. But to my surprise, I found that a particular goal associated with explicit expression of scout movement in 1962, 1960, 1972 was nevertheless given up in 1983. But despite this, it should be noted that the content elements directly associated with scout movement still remain in the curriculum. There is one thing I want to tell you. The 1983 curriculum standards of scouting education, by deleting the goal of promoting scout movement through scouting education, signal an important message. The message showed that a decision was made for scouting education to break up its historical relationship with the scout movement. However, the job of seeking a new identity of scouting education was considered to be incomplete because the content elements regarding the Boy Scout movement were still included in the scouting education curriculum. It was suggested that incomplete improvement of scouting education attribute to the term scouting, which necessitated the inclusion of the information on the scout movement. Now, the name problem of scouting education and its related content problem of whether or not to include the information of the scout movement in the scouting education as a middle school course was finally solved in 2002. The Taiwan's educational reform 2002 decided to merge 3 courses, that is scouting education, home economics, and activities, into a new curriculum entitled Integrated Activities. To some extent, scouting education seems to be non-existent because it stands no more as an independent course. However, it survives substantially. To understand how scouting education has been justified for its sustained status as a middle school course, a careful investigation of the foundations of the scouting education is demanded. After a comprehensive review of the literatures, Lu, that's me, concluded that Scouting education as a middle school course could have been based on two foundations. One is the philosophical foundation, consisting of three major themes: learning by doing, child-centeredness, democratic group living. And the other foundation, consisting of two major themes: nationalism and war preparation. These two foundations seems to provide the rationale for Scouting education to be accepted as a middle school course. And they also help to define the characteristics of Scouting education. However, it seems to me that the political foundation of Scouting education, which used to serve as a strong support, lost its significance after the fact that the martial law became ineffective in 1987. Despite this, I personally believe that the philosophical foundation of Scouting education is as solid as it was before. And this explains current situation, Scouting education surviving as a part of integrated activities. As you know, Scouting education, being a middle school course, is in need of qualified students to implement its curriculum. Therefore, a 2-year program of Scouting education was established in 1955. Later on, that program was incorporated into the Department of Civic Education. Now, the Department of Civic Education and Leadership. In 1990, the master program of the Graduate Institute was set up, and then the doctoral program was established in 2000. It was estimated that there have been about 1,500 Scouting education teachers graduating from the department. That means about 30 students, graduates per year. And now let's talk about textbooks, handbooks, because textbooks or handbooks, Scouting education, are also in demand in teaching and learning. Please look at the PowerPoint, and here I bring two sets. Scouting education textbook, a handbook. You can find the textbook and handbooks of Scouting education during the periods of 1962 and now. There are at least 6 different versions of them, though we don't have Boy Scout handbook in the Scout movement, but we have a lot of Scouting education textbook in Taiwan. But I will not go into the details for the present. And if you are interested in these books, let's talk about, come to me and let's talk about them after the presentation. And I would also like to mention a little about researches on Scouting education and Scouting. Since my department offers master degree and doctorate degree program, we have been doing very basic work of research. According to the Taiwan's academic database, we found that at the least 93 theses and 1 dissertation written in Chinese until this year. And we also found at least 106 theses and dissertations until now, readings in English, by making use of the database ProQuest. And please note that the first English thesis was done in 1912. And then please look at the item number 4. Okay. Number 4, there is in the 1935. I think it's classical. It's a dissertation entitled "Scouting in the School." I relies on what I learned from this very much, and also the item in 1941 is education and the Boy Scout movement in America. And also, let's move to items number 53. Okay, that's my dissertation. I completed in the University of Illinois in the United States in 1993, entitled General Foresight and Common Content Elements for a New Scouting Education Curriculums of the Republic of China's on Taiwan, a Delphi study. Okay, I'm really into it. Okay, and please also noted that the first Chinese thesis on scouting education was completed in 1957. It's very old, and it's all handwriting. No typewriter at that time, I think. And please also note that, okay, until now, you know, we found that almost 60% of the thesis and dissertation on scouting education and scouting was published in last 10 years. You see? And you know what? I don't know. and you can help me. You can help me to answer this and to explain this. It's very interesting. It's complete. 60% completed in last 10 years. Okay, according to the database. But I want to apologize that we are unable to read more language other than Chinese and English. Above, there are more research than what we have known now. Okay, so I think this is a very good opportunity, you know. We talk about this from different countries other than Chinese and English. Okay. And if you are and I ask my doctoral students to prepare this concrete copy. And if you are really interested in the data we provide, we show you, there's a real thing here, and you can come to me and request and take it home, and it could be very helpful for you. And now you have a general idea of the history of scouting education as a middle course of the Republic of China. And you see, just like anything else, it has never, I mean scouting, never existed in vacuum. It is an institution interacting with different social, economic, and political factors. Okay, Hua in 2011 indicates in the conclusion of his book, Scouting in Hong Kong, 1910 through 2010, that while the development of local scouting in the post-colonial era will no doubt continue to reflect the development of the Hong Kong society itself, but it will also depend to a great extent on the evolution of the Chinese youth movement, and more generally of China herself. I think this is the issue. This is our common concern. Under the impact of the Scouting movement, Scouting education as a middle school course in Taiwan has continued for 84 years till this year. To me, it's much like a long-term educational experiment with its twist and turn, up and down. It witnesses the democratization of the society, of the world, and the progress of becoming more and more educational in its own curriculum. It's just somewhat like the comment made by Pound and Howe in their book, Scouting in Singapore, also 1910 to 2000, that they said, this is more than a history of Scouting in Singapore. It is a human history of the great Scouting ideal as embodied in generations of boys and leaders over a period of more than 90 years. It is a document of how so many dedicated scouts and scouters strove so hard against so much odds to uphold the true ideals of Scouting. Yeah. Now, I would like to conclude my speech by making 3 points. Firstly, Scouting is certainly, no doubt, a form of progressive education. Secondly, it can work together with schools and has a positive impact on the school curriculum as a whole. Last but not least, Scouting needs a system of consistent evaluation of both Scout program and its identity with a better life world, and needs more authentic actions rather than rhetoric proclamations to affirm its own ideology and ideal. Now, at this point of the end of my dissertation, there's one more thing. I have a poem by Henry Longfellow, an American poet and educator, for you. The poem reads, "The tide rises, the tide falls." Yeah. The twilight darkens the curlew cord. Yeah. Okay, the twilight course along the sea sands, damp and brown. The travelers hastens toward town, and the tide rises. The tide falls. Darkness settles on the roofs and the walls, but the sea in the darkness calls. The with their soft white hands efface the footprints in the sands, and the tide rises. The tide falls. The morning breaks. The steeds in their stores stamp and neighs as the hostlers calls. The day returns, but never more returns the travelers to the shore. Sad, right? And the tide rises, and the tide falls. According to the poem, you see, the traveler, never more returns to the shore. I guarantee you the scouts and scouters will come back again and again and again. Thank you all for your attention. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Liu. I think we're supposed to have like 20 minutes or 15 minutes of open question section right now. Any question for Dr. Liu? Yes, please.
I'm Mr. Saleh from Malaysia. Is there any other organization such as Scouts in school?
Okay, now I will say that Boy Scout is now, after improvement of 1957, it's only a student club, like other student club. But we don't have the same type of scouting education as before. That's what I want to say.
I think your question.
My department program is open to the scouts, including Boy Scout, Girl Scout, or Girl Guide, of course.
And yes, they do have the scout troop in the school is a parallel system, but the student in old time take the compulsory class, but they are not scouts. They're just the students taking the scout course. But they also have the scout troop. Those who are interested in doing scouting, they can join the scout troop. So that's kind of parallel system there. Yes, please.
Thank you for the question.
Okay.
Yes, I'm called Richard from Uganda. What does religion play in these all things? In some countries, seems to be having a hand in scouting. Religion.
Yeah. Okay. Your question is, what's the religion belief in this scouting education, which is implemented in the... Yes.
I think it's open. You know, no particular religion, as long as they have a spiritual belief. I mean, okay, they believe in heaven. In China, we will say heaven, equivalent to God, maybe.
Through your presentation just now, the Scout movement in China, in the Republic of China, goes according to the political situation in the countries. So, how much support from the government to your Scout movement, and are there any grants given
Dr. Lian can
to the
answer.
Scout movement?
Yeah, he's an international
Through
commissioner.
the education.
Okay, please,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Lian, or an international director, say, my team. I have a team, you know, they can help me. Yeah.
If there is any support, it go to Zhang Wenxin. So
I think we still have the close relationship with the government, and also we receive guidance or support from the Ministry of Education. But now, as you see, Taiwan is also in the progress of so-called democratization, or to become a more freedom, or we don't need to fight war with China. So like Scouts of China is also like an NGO. So now we just, the Ministry of Education, they just treat Scouts of China as the same as, we receive the same treatment or the same support with other NGO. So this means we have to compete. We have to compete with other NGO in Taiwan in order to get government support or financial subsidies. Yes.
Yes, in one word, now it's sort of a project-oriented. If you can propose a better project, you got to fund. Otherwise, go home, eat yourself.
Good question.
So I have good answer. May I have a pencil?
Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you very much. I call Johnson Agao from South Sudan. I need the role of the parents of a student in a Scout Association in China.
Could you say it again?
I need the role of the parents, role of parents of youths in a Scout in China.
The role of the parents.
I think I'll have the chance to get another pencil. Okay, the parents of the student actually they support their kids, their children to go to school. Okay, some country there's education may be free, but still the parents have to support, have to provide the tuition fee for their student to go to school. And for scouts, if I have two boys, actually they are also in the junior high school. So they go to school, I have to pay their fee, and they go to school to take all kinds of classes, including Boy Scout education. Now it's integrated activities. So they enjoy that class free. But I also send my boys to another community-based scout troop. So I have to pay fee for my boy to join the scout troop. So this is the responsibility as a parent. Yeah. So I think I hope you can understand the situation as a parent and also answer your question. So I get another pencils, right?
Yeah, I want to take a pencil too. Yeah.
Yes?
Parents pay money.
You too. Lady, go first.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Kat. I'm from Girl Guides. I was wondering if a follow-up for your very good answer. I'm wondering if the strategy actually has a huge impact on growing your membership. So do all your students or most of them eventually become member of the association?
Good question.
Yay, I got a pencil.
Yeah, that's a different one. That's a different one.
All right.
But two more for you.
Yeah. You want to answer the question or? Okay.
Let me take the. Okay, so yeah, I think I can get a dozen of pencil after this session. Okay. Yes, in Taiwan we have about 23 million populations. So you can imagine how many students, right? But for the membership of the Scouts of China, I mean the Scout membership, we only have 50,000. 50,000. So it's not a very large percentage for the young people. So this means Scouts of China, we have to work hard in order to attract more young people to join Scouting. I think there's another comment from me. Because I took class when I was in junior high school. So I also I go camping with my classmates in junior high school. So I get some rough ideas about how Scouting is. So when I grow up, when I'm married, and when I have kids, then I will think, oh, it's better to send my boy to go to Scouting so he can have more activities, more fun to enjoy his life. Yes.
To add on a little bit, yes, because they have a touch of this class, so they know how Scouting is. But like Dr. Liu just said, now it's no longer sort of compulsory. It's more like optional. But it's interesting. It's not an option for student. It's an option for the teacher, because the integrated course there are three different parts. The teacher if the teacher, she or he, doesn't know anything about scouting, he'll choose to teach the other two. So it's important for the role of his university to get more teacher involved and interested in teaching that. All right. Okay. Let me give it a question.
I am from Madagascar, and we are French speaking, but I'll try to in English. I would ask you, what was or what is your strategy to try informal education to formal education? How is it possible so that I have an idea for ours? What was your strategy so that they would accept it easily to be with our non-formal education? I am not sure if it's clear.
The strategy how governments, they would take the Boy Scout education, it's a non-formal, it's a social movement, how to take this into the formal curriculum. With the formal curriculum. What's the strategy?
Maybe a long story, make it short.
No, actually, it's no strategy. Just the strong mind say do it, do that. But that's the case in the past. That's the case in the past, not now. Okay. Everything depends on your determination.
Yeah. Doctor, one more question. There's a lot of debate now, you see, about the community-based scouting and, of course, education and school-based education. Some say that the school-based education, school-based scouting is not scout, and the others say vice versa, you see. And from your view in Taiwan, how much support that the community give to scouting? Let's say about the finance and all other things. Yeah.
I think it's very interesting in Asia, to me, in Asia. People confused, say, scouting, a community-based scouting with the school-based scouting. It's a wrong idea because in the thesis of the violence that's American scholar in 1935, school-based scouting is still scouting, okay? Because school share the same or common goals of education as scouting. So school, just like a church, just like a company, if identify with the contents, the goals of the scouting, of course they can support. Okay, so in violence idea, the dissertation, the school should not control the Boy Scout, but should say ask the PTA. Okay, PTA should take care of the things related to scouting. That's the idea.
And to add on this, we used to talk about the school-based and community-based, but in Taiwan, a lot of very good units are so-called school-based community scouts. What is that? Okay, from this university or the high school, the student graduate. They used to be a school-based scout, but they graduate. They just like Wenjin has said, they like their children to go to school. They like their children to go to the scouting in school. So they support their alumni as the status of alumni. They help. So they become a community scout, but it has its base in the school. So the combined sort of the resource from a community and both as well as the school. So it's not really necessary to distinguish one from the other in Taiwan. Yeah.
This is It's just like the school provide the facilities of the venue, and also the neighborhood, the children of from the neighborhood, they can join that unit in that school, just like the church to provide the facility and the venue for scouting. So there should be no difference between it to distinguish the school-based or community-based scouting. Yeah.
Merci, je ne parle pas anglais. Je parle français. Je suis du scoutisme béninois, je suis le commissaire national chargé du programme des jeunes. J'ai essayé de vous suivre, essayez aussi de me comprendre. Ce que je voudrais demander, est-ce que chez vous, dans le système éducatif, il y a une place pour l'éducation non formelle? Est-ce qu'au niveau du gouvernement, il y a un ministère pour l'éducation non formelle? Et comment cela se passe avec les autres acteurs de l'éducation? C'est ma question.
Yes. Also to the translator.
So, he's called Dorothy from Benin, Program Commissioner, and he's asking if there is a place in your government for the non-formal education. Sorry. So is there a place linked to school as well or not?
Maybe like, yes, we have some departments under the Ministry of Education. So there are some special departments looking for the formal education, like for primary school, the junior high school, and the university. And there's a special department under Ministry of Education. They call it Social Education Promotion Department. So this is special department will take care of this all kind of this non-formal education in Taiwan, including scouting. So basically, we have to contact from that special department to get support from government.
Hamilton from Scotland in the United Kingdom. Thank you for your speech. Could you explain some more about evaluation and how your students are involved in helping to continue to develop formal education and scouting through their evaluation of the course?
Impact, how to 如何去评估这个童军教育的影响？
Yeah, I know somebody will have this kind of question, and I have the answer. It's, to be honest, it's very difficult. It's very difficult, and the minimum is that in the for examples, we would like to say impact of scouting education class. The best thing is that the kids or our people to know more about outdoor things. Say cultivate their habits of going outdoors, and to help people's. And the one things I want to mention is that in the earthquake, because we have a lot of scouting, so we have a lot of tents, so we can provide tents, and we want to help. So that's the impact. Yeah.
And just a little short thing. That's my suggestion to Dr. Lu. I also suggest they should evaluate their alumni, the teachers, using the membership growth. I mean, how many scouts they recruit actually become a scout, not just the teacher in the class. Okay, but I don't know. He's not in charge. He's the professor emeritus. But you have your influence, right? Influence to try to, that's maybe a measurement.
Influence is sometimes invisible.
Hello everybody. Hello, doctor. I want to ask a question from your slide presentation. You did show a timetable learning scout education. It's saying that all those periods, school program. Yeah. So how effective is the timetable education in the school? I want to ask, after the school period, are the students are still in scout, or are they just way off, like had enough of scout because of this compact lesson period? Yeah. That's I want to ask. Thank you.
Ooh, the normal school, right, we provide a lot of subjects like English. Okay, you take the English course, but you may hate English later. And you take the music and you don't like music. Okay, that's the things we cannot help. Okay, we just can do our best to help the kids. Okay. Yep.
And on the other side, Scouts of China, the headquarters will organize some jamboree, camporee, or other interesting events, so we can invite small young people to come to our side.
Yeah.
Not to just go in school.
And I have my contribution too. Do you know what I teach? I teach mathematics. And we just make other course more boring, so they were eventually like scouting.
Yeah, it's in the curriculum. In the curriculum. Yeah, they have to take the Boy Scout class, like they have to take math, Chinese language. Yes. It's not the option. It's not in the extracurricular activities. Yeah, but school can organize a scout troop extracurricular activities. Yeah. Still going on. It's still going on. It's going on. But the name of the scouting is activities.
Okay, I need to wrap up this. Thank you for the...
Yeah, we've got some comments from Twitter. There is someone said, his most important take-home message from the keynote is, we must not let Scout training be educatified, but be proud of our learning approach. And then the second one is, as leaders, we need to look deep into the heart of the young person and help them to reflect and learn to improve as a person. Yeah, these are the comments from Twitter.
Just don't be too formalistic, right? That's the key. Also, everybody gets it. Yeah, sure.
It's very good for research. And if the handouts is gone, Please write down your email address.